money. Go get the money. Go get the money. Go!
What you do in life echoes in eternity.
You are going to incur a lot of disappointment, a lot of failure, a lot of pain, a lot of setbacks, a lot of defeats. But in the process of doing that, you will discover some things about yourself that you don't know right now. What you will realize is that you have greatness within you.
It's very important that you engage in an ongoing process to develop you.
Where all you want to do is be successful, as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful.
If that doesn't work, try something else. If that doesn't work, try something else. Keep going with massive action.
You are listening to Thought Food.
Hey, it's your girl Becky Kisoon. This is daily motivation for the hustlers who need inspiration. Thanks for joining me. This episode is entitled Soar, Not Scratch. Growing up, my father would wake my sister and I up every single morning before school. I would be knocked out and Dad would come in talking to me every morning as if I was awake and I could hear. And I was literally knocked out. He would say quotes and metaphors attached to short stories sometimes. Being a daughter who absolutely despised waking up in the morning, my father had to develop some methods that worked to wake me up. And if I didn't wake up from his gentle nudges, motivational speeches, or calls to wake up, he would wipe my face with a hot rag and or pull the covers off and stand me straight up. On some mornings, he would say, "Remember, if you scratch with the chickens, you will never fly with the eagles." It's crazy because it didn't hit me till I became an adult. And for the parents out there, all the things that you tell your child, they're going to go back to it at times where they feel that they need it in their lives. This is exactly what happened to me. I want to give you guys 5 ways to do this morning. I'm taking you guys to church this morning, so I hope that you're ready. Number 1, avoid chicken talk. These are conversations that lead to nowhere. Conversations that are full of gossip, that are just talking about the latest happenings. Of course, you want to be filled in about how other people are doing and things like this, because other people matter. And if they're in need of your help or prayer, that matters too. You don't want to look at these things in a negative perspective for too long or talk about things without solutions. It is very difficult to stop talking about something too much when you are displeased or pissed off about something, but just try not to drag it on yourself. It's going to be hard because you're going to have the feeling inside of you to have these conversations, especially when you are mad or when something displeased you that you heard about, but you're going to have to check yourself. Every time you think to talk about it, check yourself. And no one's perfect at this. I'm not perfect at this, but I always have to mentally refresh myself like you're doing this morning with information like this. When I refresh myself with information like this, I'm reminded, hey, that conversation that I was going to have, let me just stop. And it's going to feel like when you first start a diet and you cut off bread or rice. It just feels uncomfortable and you crave it. But you have to fight that craving with doing what is right versus what you feel like doing. 1 Corinthians 15:33 says, "Do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character." This is the NIV version. 1 Corinthians 15:33, King James Version, says, "Do not be deceived. Evil communications corrupt good manners." What it's saying in the NIV version is that bad company corrupts good character. You don't want to be around or be a part of evil communications or bad company. Number 2, avoid hanging out with chickens. Proverbs 13:20, the Hebrew version says, "He that walketh with wise men shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed." Hanging out with people that are wise can help you brainstorm ideas that will expand on what you already know. They will encourage you. They will give you insights about things that you may not have been aware of before. Another verse that I found that hit home for me, Proverbs 24:1-2, "Be not thou envious of evil men, neither desire to be with them." Hebrew version. Psalm 26, 4-5, Hebrew version says, I have not sat with men of falsehood, neither will I go in with dissemblers. I dislike the gathering of evildoers, and I will not sit with the wicked. And in the dictionary, to dissemble means to disguise or conceal one's true nature, motives, or feelings behind a false appearance. So listen to that. In the dictionary, to dissemble means to disguise or conceal one's real nature, motives, or feelings behind a false appearance. I'm going to replace dissemblers with the dictionary version. Psalm 26, 4-5 says, I have not sat with men of falsehood, neither will I go in with people that disguise or conceal their true nature, motives, or feelings behind a false appearance. I dislike the gathering of evildoers, and I will not sit with the wicked. Number 3, avoid chicken thoughts. Romans 12:2 says, do not be conformed to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, His good, pleasing, and perfect will. Avoid thoughts that are not fruitful to your mind, that are negative. Whenever you start thinking about the past and what hurt you, what you regret, exit out of your mind as fast as it came in. You tell your mind, I cancel this thought right now. And you change the thought pattern. Make a decision to change your thought pattern right then and there and decide another thought. Think something else. Avoid thoughts of negativity, of blame, of guilt, of shame, of grief, of sadness. Every time that you get a thought in your mind that is not congruent with the renewing of your mind, that is not congruent with your future, that is not congruent in who you really are, beyond what you think or feel right now, exit out. It has no place there. It doesn't belong in your mind. You are worth it, and you can do this. Number 4, set goals with dates. Luke 14:28 says, which of you, desiring to build a tower, does not first sit down and count the cost, whether he has enough to complete it? This text is saying you have to make a plan. And making a plan starts with first making a date to make a plan, to sit down and actually start it. Jim Rohn said, you cannot change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction overnight. When you write out your goals, write out anything that you can think of to reach those goals right now in your state of mind. Because of course you will evolve as you research and ask questions. Add deadlines so that you can begin to act on what it is that you want. Lastly, number 5, do not be afraid to soar. 2 Timothy 1:7 NIV version says, for the Spirit God gave us does not make us timid, but gives us power, love, and self-discipline. So to me, this means that you weren't made to be shy about your gifts, your interests, your passions, what you have to say. The Spirit of God gives you power, gives you love. It's not who you see yourself to be. It's how He sees you. Self-discipline. The Spirit of God can give you self-discipline. The Spirit of God inside of you will give you insights and wisdoms that will far surpass anything that you're going through right now when it pertains to your goal. Any obstacle that you've seen right now that pertains to your goal, the Spirit of God can wipe that out completely. Because who you are in Him is who you really are. Fear is a false evidence appearing real. Do not be afraid to soar. I want you to name every single reason that you can conjure up as to why you haven't started working on what you know will bring you closer to your dream life, to the life that you actually want to wake up and live every single day. You guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. I will be here Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. EST. I love you. Thank you so much for joining me. Peace.